Okay, before I start, welcome to the panel called Fluttershy's Survival Guide for Highly Sensitive Ponies. First question, can you recognize the characters? I mean, except for Fluttershy, that's clear, right? Who does not know Fluttershy? Cool. So, I'm at the right place. Can you recognize the other characters?
No. Yeah. Anakin.
Yeah, Anakin from Star Wars.
And I don't know her name, but Game of Thrones.
No, it's X-Men. It's Jean from X-Men, and the one on the very left is Lon Suter from Star Trek. Just an example of where we can find these kind of characters. So it's not just limited to My Little Pony. Is it working? Yes. So what it is going to be about? It's going to be about a personality trait called highly sensitive person. It's a trait that affects from 15 to 20% of all people, but it's usually not recognized as such. And I think, I think we should shed some light on this phenomenon because it's usually very overlooked and it's also widespread. And I think among the fan communities, this is even more than 20%. And also the fact or the reason why this panel is that the My Little Pony provides a lot of situations and a lot of examples of what these people encounter in their daily life. Yeah, this is what I basically said now. The basic idea behind all of this is that you have a very simple assumption that the person is highly sensitive, and it has a huge and broad impact on the person itself, its surroundings, and the people around. It's frequently misinterpreted for other kinds of behavior. People are usually focusing on the consequences of this trait, not on the root cause. And if you are overlooking the root cause, you may run into the trouble. We will talk about it later, because when you try to solve this just based on the effects, many of those solutions simply does not work. And also it can, as I already said, it could be described by the examples from various let's say, fandoms and popular movies and so on. Short introduction about me. My name is James, by nickname. I'm from the Czech Republic. I'm doing, pony stuff for some time already. And I'm also the highly sensitive person. It's one of the reasons why I choose to cosplay Fluttershy, because she's one of those characters that's very close to this trait. And also because the friendship is magic and sometimes all the magic is simply unpredictable. Let's just say, for those who know what I'm doing, I'm a chairman of Czechoslovakia and I'm just doing this kind of stuff. In the beginning, I would not imagine that I can do such a thing. I would be totally scared to go in front of people and talk to you right now. In fact, when I wore my Fluttershy cosplay first time, I actually wanted to hide in the shower at the very first GalaCon because I was so scared to go outside. And a friend of me dragged me out because I hid there. Somebody wrote on the Twitter, I just saw the worst Fluttershy cosplay ever. So, 12 years ago, yeah. But the magic of friendship saved me, and now I'm here and doing what I'm doing. So, sometimes what I'm gonna talk about, it might seem like crazy or overrated, but believe me, for people who are highly sensitive, this is a very, very real experience. Very important thing to begin with. This is not any professional help or some kind of stuff like that. I don't have any psychology degree, any medical degree, so what I'm going to share is my experience and studies and what I experienced in my life and what I found out about the phenomenon with the focus on the events that we can see in the My Little Pony universe. The topic is really large, so we cannot cover it all in 1 hour. What I'm going to say is not like set in stone. There could be edge cases. There are vast variants among the people who are highly sensitive, especially when it comes to how the people behave. So don't take it like, yeah, Jamie said that at GalaCon, so it's forever truth. No, we have other organizations for forever truths, not this one. Being highly sensitive is not an excuse, and it's also no reason for a negative label. So if you're highly sensitive or you have a highly sensitive person around you, it's just the fact that you have to deal with it in your own way. And there is, in most cases, there is a way how to deal with it and live on and even use it for your own advantage. Some phenomena or some effects I'm going to describe can be also caused by something else. So when I say, yeah, this person, highly sensitive people behave this way, it does not necessarily mean that it's the only possible cause. And yeah, being highly sensitive is not worse or better, it's just different. It might seem like a superpower, but well, depends on your point of view. Sometimes it seems like a curse, but we'll get to that. Whew. And yeah, one last note, maybe a little story. When I had this panel for the first time, do not look for highly sensitivity behind everything. Because when I talked about it for the first time, some people came to me after the panel and said, oh, no, I'm totally scared to look around. Why? Because there might be highly sensitive people watching at me doing what I'm doing. Like, okay, please don't. So don't be scared that somebody is watching you. It's not how it works. So I'm going to talk about some information, the facts, and most importantly, comparison, how it looks like when you know about this trait of yourself or that other person has it, and when you don't know about it. There is a huge difference of that. We'll go through some examples, and also I would like to share some of my experience, because as I'm usually saying, if I had this information like 25 years ago, my life would be much, much simpler. Like it would save me a lot of trouble, because I know myself better now. So I hope that's gonna be the thing you will bring home from this panel. I'm not gonna talk about any specific people except myself, although there might be many examples, but no names. What the highly sensitive person stands for, yeah, short acronym. Sometimes when you want to translate it to other languages, you may find it difficult, because when you say somebody is sensitive, it's also associated with a different phenomenon or different things. So when you talk about sensitivity in different language than English, be sure that the person got what you wanted to say. First and most important thing about this, it's a high sensory sensitivity. So it's not like you're emotionally sensitive, it's just an effect. The primary cause is that all your senses are like double more sensitive, let's say. Yeah, so you need like half the size of the stimuli to reach the same level of mind state or emotional state than people around you. So you need just a little to get to be happy. You need just a little of stuff to be angry or sad or whatever. And this trait also comes with the processing information difference in your brain, because your senses are giving you much more information. So you're used to think about things much more wide and much more deep, which comes with advantages and also disadvantages. Any questions so far? No, or good.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
make it short, you mean?
Yeah.
Sorry. With thinking wide and deep, can it be pretty much summarized as over complicating things?
Yeah, that's one of the effects.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll get to this topic later, but in general, you tend to extrapolate a lot of stuff, and you have like 20, 50 scenarios in your head for every next step. And sometimes you're right, it makes your life much easier, and sometimes you get trapped in like all bad solutions. A little bit about the history. The first appearance was in the beginning of 20th century with Carl Jung, who defined so-called innate sensitiveness, which is something that you are born with. In the 90s, this topic was, let's say, reborn and popularized with this lady, Eleni and Aaron. With her husband, they defined the term which is used now in the psychology. It's called sensory processing sensitivity, which describes the phenomenon much more accurate, but it's not so useful in the daily language. So if you say, yeah, my sensory processing sensitivity is high, people are like, ooh, what? When you say, yeah, I'm sensitive, oh, I get it. I talked about the percentages already. What is interesting to note that it does not affect only human population. It's been observed in about 100 other species, so also 15 to 20%, and it's believed to be the effect of the evolution. That it's for any group of sentient beings, it's good for the group to have about this amount of highly sensitive individuals. Not more, because that would cause trouble, and less because it would lower your chances for survival. There is a long and short-term experience with a high sensitivity, because everybody, being highly sensitive or not, from time to time experience the extreme emotions or the extreme situations, some altered states of mind, like when you do the meditation or when you take drugs. For highly sensitive people, it's much more often, and it's generated by your own brain. So in a way of sense, you're like lifetime on drugs. Because your brain is giving you all the chemicals that others need, artificial chemicals, to actually achieve that states of mind, like be it the happiness or anything else. So, basic overview. As I already said, it's inherited trait, it's physiological cause. So your nervous system is sensitive. You've been born with it, and you cannot do anything about it. So that's like having more precise or more sensitive measuring devices and better processing algorithms. Being sensitive is usually confused with other phenomena with similar effects. Most commonly the shyness, introverted personality, and also autism spectrum disorder. So these are the things. So if somebody tells you, yeah, you're just shy or you're just introverted, there is a chance that you might actually be highly sensitive. This trait is perceived differently in different cultures. When you're in the nations, they value it more than, for example, the European or the Euro-American civilization. Also, the Asian culture values more the sensitivity and things around that. Also, there is a huge difference between men and women. So if you're a woman, it's much easier to live in our society as a highly sensitive person, because when when you have a masculine society and you come up as a man and say, hey, I'm highly sensitive, usually that's not that well perceived. You already saw the example of the character, so I'm not gonna play it again. We all know Fluttershy, how she behaves. We all seen the episodes. Long story short, to say, most of the Fluttershy episodes are actually describing a highly sensitive person's daily life. So that might be also one of the reasons why a lot of people can identify with the character. Maybe one more information. I actually once asked M.A. Larson about Fluttershy, and I said, yeah, she's perceived as a shy personality, but to me it's more like a sensitive character. And he said, yeah, that's exactly how she was designed. So yeah, could be confirmed. How the highly sensitivity is diagnosed? You don't want to make the autopsy of the brain of anyone, so it's usually used the manifestation monitoring, so with the statistic methods, or functional magnetic resonance. This is a picture from functional magnetic resonance, and it shows the composite comparison of the Ponies. Okay, I made the first mistake. Now I'm not nervous anymore. Of the brains. Freudian slip. Sorry. So this is composite comparison of the brains of highly sensitive people compared to non-highly sensitive people, and those colored areas represent some of the regions, again, with the brain where the greater activation occurs for the highly sensitive people. I think this was the experiment when they showed people the faces of their partners, and this was the reactions. Yeah, photos of their partners smiling. So yeah, you need just a little bit to be happy. How to recognize highly sensitive people from the external, how they behave from outside. There are many differences based on how people know themselves and if they know how to handle their sensitiveness. So there might be very big differences in this. They usually excessively react to the stimuli, especially when they're not in their rested state. They have a big attention for details, which is useful when you're creative, doing any kind of creative work, from art, science, whatever else. These people usually have the big fluctuations in the behavior, even though you might not see it outside, but inside it might be the huge roller coaster of emotions pretty often. And they're usually standing out of the crowd. They're kind of extremes. Also, they usually do not fit in the average. They're everything but average, let's say. If you're familiar with the mathematics, their Gaussian curve is usually inverted in the emotions. So they mostly experience the extreme ones, and with the usual population, they usually experience the average ones. One example, my first video example, how the extreme reaction can look like. Very typical for highly sensitive guys.
Where are you going? You seem to have everything under control. Fluttershy, we need you! You have to power up! I'm sorry. It's just that nothing is making me mad. Oh, goodness. Are you okay? Are you kidding me? I mean, I know you're evil and everything, but you're a teensy little harmless firefly? Really? When you're just a great big meanie!
There! I said it! What makes you think you're so special? Like the rules and crime for a zero party! You think I'm supporting a wrong side!
Yeah, so very fragile pony, just slightly. Yeah.
Also relatable though.
Yeah, this is how it works for highly sensitive people if their emotion could change their physical appearance. Yeah,
Yeah, this episode shows this quite well because this episode is like so different from all the other episodes.
yeah,
It's like we're standing out of all of the season. Very much.
yeah. This was pretty standout episode.
Also
Totally.
because of the sci-fi themes.
Yeah, and it also answers for the last line I have on this slide that highly sensitive people tend to avoid the social interaction due to high intensity of the experience. So for highly sensitive people, the interaction with others could be exhausting and very demanding on their energy. So they try to reduce the contact, especially when they are, for example, tired. Yeah. How to recognize highly sensitive from the reactions of their surrounding. They're everything but average. Usually being described as a sensitive, shy, dreamer, detail-oriented, weirdo, nerd. They're sometimes bullied for being different, and that usually has a huge impact on these people. They long-term try to fit in the normal society, and they usually don't succeed in that. So if you're familiar with these sentences that are here, like, yeah, you can't take it that way, just let it go, you're just overreacting and stuff like that, yeah. That's the typical answers to highly sensitive people when they react or overreact to something. And there is also a big difference for the people who can handle their sensitiveness, and they are usually seen as efficient and purposefulness and the natural leaders and stuff like that. Yeah, time for another demonstration. How people are trying to behave normally. If you're shy and somebody tells you should be more assertive, how it can actually end.
Who's next, please? And what can I get for you today? What do you think you're doing? Did you see me? I guess maybe. Maybe? Maybes are for babies. Now go to the back of the line where you belong.
Totally not overdid it.
Hey, look at you. Your attitude is so feisty. It's fabulous. Looks like that monster's workshop really paid off. Iron Will's not a monster. He's a minotaur and a true inspiration. His techniques really work. Well, they've certainly made a difference in the way you carry yourself. You truly are a whole new Fluttershy. Yes, I am. And new Fluttershy feels pretty stoked about new Fluttershy. Well, old Pinkie Pie feels really proud of new Fluttershy. Proud as Pink Punch. Want some? You laugh at me, I laugh at you. Bye, Bruce. Well, Dave. Taxi! No, you don't. Cut your line, I'll take what's mine. No pony pushes new Fluttershy around. No! Old Pinkie Pie's not so sure new Fluttershy is such a good idea after all. Oh, Rarity agrees.
Yeah, so fitting in being normal does not usually work as you expected. How to recognize a highly sensitive person from the inner side, so how you can recognize it on yourself. usually you ask yourself, how is that other people do not see this thing? It's so obvious, it's so crystal clear. No, it's usually not. Usually have more details, more informations, and you're trying to project what's gonna happen next, because you have all the information in your brain, and it brings you to the scenarios for the next like 10 minutes, 10 years, everything. You make a lot of associations, but they could be wrong. Like very often, you can end up with a construction in your head that's completely wrong, and sometimes it's really hard to like abandon all the stuff you have in your head. You have high sensory empathy and the intuition. You have good reflexes usually, vivid imagination, rich inner life. When you're reading the book, you can get easily overwhelmed, and you can easily slip into the story. You can easily adapt your own behavior to the environment. That's the thing I already talked about. You can find certain aspects of other people's behavior very annoying. You can easily run into misunderstandings because you're thinking that other people around you think the same way, but it's usually not the case. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with yourself. And what is also interesting from the My Little Pony perspective is that highly sensitive people can pretty easily understand the language of animals. It's just because when you look at the animals, they usually communicate in a non-verbal way, and for highly sensitive people, it's very easy to read not just other people but also the animals. So if you learn what their gestures means, you can easily communicate and adjust to their behavior. So that's basically what Fluttershy do. It's a little bit over that in the show, because she can also talk to animals, which of course highly sensitive people cannot talk to animals. But it's pretty easy to get along with them. Like sometimes these people think about the world as one big stage, and all the people around the audience that they're playing what they're doing. So, did I forget something? No, we can skip this video, you all knew it. All right, something behind the curtain of the obvious things. When you say somebody is sensitive, you came usually with a typical set of ideas, what can it mean? These effects are usually not that obvious. It's first that you cannot turn off your sensitiveness, you cannot turn off your senses. All the information comes to you, even though it does not go through your consciousness, it goes always to your subconsciousness, and everything around affects you. Even if you don't want it, it happens. You have to just deal with it. You have frequent extreme positive and negative experience from pretty simple causes that other people just tend to not to understand why this can make you angry, why this can make you so happy. Highly sensitive people, as I already said, should beware of incorrect interpretation and extrapolation, because they think about more things. They tend to overtrain their prediction models, let's say. And also, all these processes cost a lot of energy. So if you're highly sensitive, you need to rest. If you don't rest, things go nasty pretty soon, or sooner or later. You can try to postpone your rest because you have some tasks, but at one point it just hits you, and your brain says you need to rest, and I will force you to rest. There might be situations that you're around with the people you really like, that are your friends, that are your family, but when you're tired, your brain makes you hate them. And that applies also for your partners, for for your pets, for the hobbies, for everything. So if you're highly sensitive and you have this feeling, it's usually just sign, go and have a rest. Day, week, maybe even a month. Then you can return and you will enjoy your life as before, but you need to rest. Eventually, you just need to.
Sorry, quick question.
Yes?
How do you cope with that in a usual daily scene like a 9-to-5 job?
How you can deal with this like in the daily life?
Yeah, exactly. If you have a normal job or whatever and you feel like being struck, you need to rest, but if you have a job to do something.
Yeah. Well, most of the highly sensitive people develop their own strategies because they learn that they have to be careful about their mind and their moods since the very childhood.
Yeah.
So if you're a small kid, you usually do not suppress your feelings. You just express them, and you learn how people around or the environment reacts to your let's say emotional outbursts. And what I can say, yeah, do proper rest, sleep a lot, and find some safe harbor. So somewhere where you can retreat and nobody can hurt you at that place. So that's basically. I have a set for the survival later in the presentation.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
like, I can speak for myself, like, you know the situation when you are not able to manage, like, pretty average things other people can do pretty easily, like, normal things in your life, like, I don't know, keeping up with cleaning your house, or I don't know, or do, go shopping, or normal everyday things that, like, really putting you to work and you like, oh my gosh, this is the normal thing ever, like everyone can do it, but I struggle with it.
In this case, what I can recommend is to make a routine. So make a to-do list, even on the paper. Like say, today I'm going to do this, and this, and it helps you to focus on these things.
The question was rather that, is this like a common thing for people like that?
Yeah, also. Because it's with the overwhelming influence or influx of the information and the sensory stuff, you can get easily overwhelmed.
Yeah,
So you can fall into chaos pretty easily, yes.
Yeah, I also like recognize it when I overthink everything, and then when I argue with someone about some topics, and then I'm speechless and I don't know how to tell the person what I want to say.
Yeah, it can happen because of this, or yeah, maybe something else, it's hard to say. Yeah, one more question, please.
I first wanted to give a small advice to the first question. It might help you a bit if you can anticipate a bit and learn from experience what stresses you out and puts you into these situations where you feel overwhelmed. So you know in advance when they will be coming, and maybe you can try to avoid in the future, or talk to your employer that you might have someone else to do these specific tasks when these situations arrive. So basically you're not surprised by the situation when it occurs. And for me, for the hypersensitivity, is also a huge thing of getting into every detail of stuff and what people say, and absolutely totally missing the whole big picture and point. So for me it actually helps really much when I get someone to summary what's happening, so I can actually see what's up at all.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, one more question?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask, like, what is your experience with
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Mike. Thank
What is
you.
your experience with healthcare provider awareness of this? Because I feel like this could be easily dismissed or maybe lumped under autism spectrum or other issues.
Yeah, my experience in my country, I don't know how it's in other countries, is that it's slowly spreading, but it's still not widely known in the professional community, because I met some psychologists that were actually not aware about this phenomenon. So I had to bring it up, and yeah, it took me some time to find somebody who was able to work with this. So if you need to talk to a professional about this topic, and you're suspicious that this trait affects you, be sure to tell the person and tell them, yeah, this is official stuff. It's up already for about 30 years. It's been recognized in the scientific community. There are a lot of research on this topic. So yeah, I think the professionals in this field are also just the people. So we should just remind them that we want to work with this, and they should consider this option. Okay, some examples from fiction and from life. Few rules for survival. Do you recognize this character?
From Avatar.
Yeah, that's from Avatar. Yeah. She's also considered a highly sensitive person. What I usually say, if you want to survive as a highly sensitive person, you have to think about your trait, like in certain ways. Like your brain and your potential is really high, but you need to handle it properly, otherwise things can go nasty. Like the difference between the wood and coal and uranium and plutonium. So you can get a lot of energy from wood and coal. When you burn it, it's pretty safe. And your mind works more like a nuclear power plant. It has a huge energy output. You can make a huge things, but you have to really carefully handle it. Otherwise, you can experience a meltdown, and that's definitely something you don't want to. The life of the highly sensitive person is usually more difficult than an ordinary life. It's because you have to, until you learn how to handle it, you have to think about it consciously, which also costs some energy. It's like when you're learning new skills. Like, I don't know, I would not say like it's like learning to walk, but in a sense, yes. But still, it's not an excuse for resignation, because, well, you cannot change your brain. If you don't control your emotions, they will control you. That's a very, very popular thing. Also a quote from the Star Trek. And sometimes this can happen even without you noticing it. So it's good from time to time just stop for, I don't know, half an hour and say, okay, now I'm not gonna be concerned about anything that's going around me, and I'm gonna look at my own actions of the last day or week or hour. And it can give you very clear perspective and think, okay, maybe I did not handle this pretty well. Maybe now I'm reacting like this because I'm under a lot of pressure. There are bad things happening in my life, or there are intense positive things in my life, because there is also a thing called positive trauma that can, intense positive things can have an impact on you in the same way as intense negative things. You can use your highly sensitivity very effectively in all fields of human activities, and when you can master it, it's very, very useful, even at the more extreme situations. And also beware of abusing your abilities, because you're far from being only one who's highly sensitive around. And if you are highly sensitive, you usually have strong emotion memory, so you can remember the situation and your emotion connected with it. And when somebody treats you badly, this can last for like decades. I mean, decades. I know people who are highly sensitive still refuse to accept that, and they're living with the bad things that happened like 50 years ago. It's crazy. Please don't do that. I have another example of behavior. Yeah. Extreme reactions to others. You probably know this one.
Excuse me, do you know how to get to the Ponyville Tower?
Sure, yes.
Oh, that's a shame.
News, I blow my fuse. Fluttershy, what are you doing? That's no way to behave. Didn't you see what he did to new Fluttershy? And he thought new Fluttershy was a pushover. No, sweetie, he didn't. We saw the whole thing. We think that you've taken your assertiveness training a little too far. What? You just want new Fluttershy to be a doormat like old Fluttershy. But old Fluttershy is gone. New Fluttershy? Old Fluttershy? What happened to nice Fluttershy? We want that Fluttershy back. No. You want weird Fluttershy. You want pushover Fluttershy. You want do anything to her and she won't complain Fluttershy. Fluttershy to keep track of. Make it stop. Things getting too complicated for your simple little brain, Pinkie Pie. Now stop right there. Let's not let things descend into petty insults. Why not? I thought petty was what you're all about, Rarity, with your petty concerns about fashion. Hey, leave her alone. Fashion is her passion. Oh, and what are you passionate about? Birthday cake? Party hats? I can't believe that the two most frivolous ponies in Ponyville are trying to tell new Fluttershy how to live her life when they are throwing their own lives away on pointless pursuits that no pony else gives a flying feather about. Looks like nasty Fluttershy is here to stay. I cannot believe what that monster Iron Will has done to you. Iron Will's not a monster. He's a minotaur. I'm the monster.
Yeah. This is a perfect example how it can work if you just, overreact and you go on. And if you don't have that reflection, you can do this to people. And it's one of the worst things that can happen to highly sensitive person, and also to people around. So some reflection of your behavior is fine, and when this happens to you, it's usually fine, as shown in the episode, to go back to the people and say, hey, I was in a really bad state and this happened. I actually did not mean that because I'm in a certain mental state and I was not able to get out of it. Okay, more rules for survival. It's useful, as being said already by somebody in the crowd. Defends yourself against adverse influences. So if something or somebody drives you mad or gives you a bad time, develop some strategies how to protect from this bad influence, like having a shield in front of you and telling, yeah, that person actually does not know how big impact this has on me. Yeah, because when you react to that, it can end up in a misunderstanding and overreaction, like in the previous video. There is absolute necessity for the safe harbor and proper rest. You need a place where to retreat, even if that means you sit down calmly in the audience with other people around. Close your eyes, put the earphones in your ears and meditate, or well, just have your calm moment for 10-20 minutes to calm down, have your mind rest for a minute, and then you can go on. So what's next? Yeah, usually a highly sensitive persons have trouble with trial and error learning. So because the mistakes you make, especially in front of other people, are usually having much bigger and much more intense impact on you than on others. So when you're learning, it's hard to accept your own mistakes sometimes. If not, cool, good for you. You can usually handle the crisis much worse if you're not ready for them. If you don't have the usual mindset, then the crisis will probably be harder for you. You have a complex decision making. That means you put into your decisions many information and usually too much information. And sometimes it's hard to explain to others why this, why you did this, why you did that. There is a high potential for conflicts and misunderstanding. What I usually say, and it's pretty hard, that for a highly sensitive person, it's hard to get into the closer relationships with people, because it's not a question if the second person betrays you, but when. Because there might be bad circumstances, just a stupid note or something, and it can hit you really hard and disable your skills and your performance for, I don't know, months. And it's because you put your trust in somebody else, and suddenly you got hit, you got backstabbed from the background. Yeah, many of these things the highly sensitive people learn through their lives, and often through very hard lessons. Also, when something looks suspicious or when something goes extreme, always think, okay, what's the root cause of all of this? Am I looking at the root cause, or am I looking just on the effect? So that's the most important advice. And how it works, no, I think we can skip that one. You already know the video. I have a better one later. So, highly sensitive people versus general population. Yeah, if you play the normal person, which as a highly sensitive person you of course can, and it's not that that hard. It's not the same as being normal. Normality emulation is not perfect, and it costs you a lot of energy. And from time to at some points you make a mistake, or you just hit the wall like, okay, this is not right, and then the whole process collapses. Even with all the information you have, things can go easily wrong, and also your emotional memory can, let's say, be a little bit tricky, because you remember some events somehow, also with the emotions inside, and when you recall them, you're looking at that from a different perspective. Like, yeah, this happened, I was really angry at that person, it was a fact of that moment, but it was like overstatement, so it was wrong. You have to redefine your memories sometimes. If you talk to the people who are not highly sensitive, but they're like it said, neurotypicals, you should not think about having a revenge later. Try to solve the situation in that moment. Also, yeah, we're getting closer to the end. something I told about the details. So how the details and the highly sensitive people works.
What do you think? I love it. Oh, you're just saying that. No, I do. It's nice. 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 If you don't like it, you should just tell me. Oh, but I do like it. Like it or love it? Both. What do you think? Please stop asking me this. Just tell me what you really think. No, that's okay. Tell me. No, it's fine. Tell me. I like it. Tell me. All right, since you really want to know. The arm size type, the midi collar doesn't go with the shawl lapel. The hands are clearly machine stitched. The pleats are uneven. The fabric looks like toile. Used a back stitch here when it clearly called for a top stitch or maybe a traditional blanket stitch. And the over design is reminiscent of prêt-à-porter and not true French haute couture. But, whatever you want to do is fine.
Yeah, this is very typical how highly sensitive people or ponies just perceive the reality and how they tell others.
Sometimes I get really stressed when I get a gift because I'm like, I'm gonna get hung up on a detail, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to make the other person feel bad.
Yeah.
So exactly this happens.
Yes, that's right. So how it goes when two highly sensitive people comes together. Yeah, there are many factors how this can come out, mostly based on how people can handle their traits. They usually mutually analyze each other. They can talk in a very strange way, like using just half of the words in the sentences and the conversation still works. I experienced this with my friend who's also highly sensitive. We've been in a pub talking over the beer and there was a third person next to us. And that guy was like, what is going on? Like, are you speaking another language? No, we just have a normal conversation. We just don't need that many words now. Like, you're crazy, all of you. Yeah, you have to be, when you have a highly sensitive person next to you, especially as a friend or a partner, you have to be careful about all the aspects we talk about, because the conflicts can be devastating and you have to balance it in the end, either you want it or not. It comes from the close cooperation of two people to the MAD. Do you know what that acronym stands for? It's mutual assured destruction. It's a name from the theory of games, and that's how the nuclear war was balanced between the East and the West. So nobody dared to attack because he knew that he would be instantly destroyed by the other person. That can also work, but I totally do not recommend it. And my, let's say, favorite part, it's highly sensitive people versus people of who has autism spectrum disorder. It's interesting because these two groups are trying to approach the normality of the averageness of the human behavior, but from opposite sides, from opposite directions. And if, in this case, if two are doing the same thing, it's not definitely the same thing. The both autism spectrum disorder and the high sensitivity has similar effects, but it has very different causes. So there's a big confusion and usually wrong conclusions when you're trying to analyze this just from the effects. My ex-girlfriend was also slightly autistic, and we've been together for 10 years. So sometimes it was really hard to find out, like, she's not understanding the irony, she cannot read much of the body language, she does not get all the subtle things I put in my speech. She always requires the clear explanations. Just a few examples. The usual problem with these two groups is that when you're highly sensitive, you expect the other person get all these nuances in the conversation, because for you it's boring, you don't have to explain everything because it's obvious, right? But when you have a person from autism spectrum disorder on the other side, they often do not get all these things you put in. And you have to be aware of this fact that this can happen, because sometimes it's like, slapping in the, oh, yes, 5 minutes. Yeah, we have 5 minutes left. It's one of the last slides, don't worry. And things can go easily nasty. And you can find the other people arrogant, even if they're not. I think there is a scene from My Little Pony that totally perfectly describes how this works.
Big Mac, you got some splaining to do. Turkey coat?
Yep.
Treasure voice?
Yep.
Is it cold remedy?
Yep.
No quick enough?
Nope.
Needed a deep voice?
Yep.
Poison joke?
Yep.
Flutter gas?
Yep.
Better name?
Yep.
And that shot Philly was living her dream in the shadows because she couldn't bring herself to come into the spotlight?
Yep.
Let's go!
Fluttershy? You in here? Yes. I'm here.
And now it
That
comes.
was totally unbelievable! I mean, the curtain came up. And I don't think anybody was jealous, because there certainly wasn't an angry mob, but it must have been horrible standing there on stage, all eyes glued directly on you. It's like you were living your own personal worst nightmare!
You see, Pinky does not know what's going on. Absolutely not.
What? Too much? What Pinky meant to say was that you were really great. Wait, did I say that? Hardly. Oops. You were great! I just don't understand why, Fluttershy. After all, you're the one that wanted the Ponytoes to sing for every silly thing that was requested of us. You mean you knew I really wanted to perform? Of course I knew. Oh. And for all her babbling, Pinkie Pie was right about one thing. Only one? When that curtain fell, and every pony saw you singing, you lived your worst nightmare. Was it really that bad? Yes. Well, what was so bad about it?
The thundery supplies? The praise for your fantastic singing?
The screaming fans! There's baby steps.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna skip that because we don't have the time. So, but you know the scene. Philly Vanilli is very typical Fluttershy and highly sensitive pony or person episode. So, if you ever met any mod in the real world as a Fluttershy, just be careful. You can be friends. You just need to be aware that the communication between you is different than with other people. It can totally work. Just a few quotations about the difference between highly sensitive people and autism spectrum disorder causes. I think I don't have to leave this here for a long time. So it's a quotations. If you enter it to Google, you will find it easily. Yeah. So, at the end, same notes as in the beginning. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. This topic is far beyond 1 hour. This is not a substitute for the professional help, but I hope I'll leave some trace in your minds so you can be aware of this phenomenon, that it can happen. And if you look around, 1/5 of the people in this room are probably highly sensitive. Don't get paranoid, please. Some quick literature and links. This is the book from the lady I talked about earlier. I can recommend it to highly sensitive persons and also the people who want to understand it. There are some websites, descriptions on the Wikipedia, and stuff. Okay, I think we ran out of time. Am I right? Okay, so you can find me anywhere around. I think I'm pretty recognizable. So feel free to talk to me about this topic. I totally like to see also other points of view. And I had a video. Do we still have like 3 minutes so I can show one video? I would like to end with one last note. And summarize what it is all about.
I'm here to show you who I am. Throw off the veil, it's finally time. There's more to me than glitz and glam. And now I feel my stars align. For I had believed what I was sold. I did all the things that I was told. But all that is changing now and bold. 'Cause I know that I am just a pony. I make mistakes from time to time. But now I know the real me. I put my heart on the line. And let the magic in my heart stay true. And let the magic in my heart stay true. Just like the magic inside of you. And now I see those colors right before my eyes. I hear my voice so clearly, and I know that it is right. I thought I was weak, but I am strong. They sold me the world, but they were wrong. And now that I'm back, I still belong. 'Cause I know I am just a pony. I make mistakes from time to time. Now I know the real me. I put my heart on the line. And let the magic in my heart stay true. And let the magic in my heart stay true. Just like the magic inside of you. Just like the magic inside of
Okay, that's all. Thanks for coming, and now it's up to you.